HealthNuts, welcome back to HealthNut Nutrition. I'm Nikole, and today we are getting into hacks, not just any kind of hacks, baking hacks. I have a few hacks videos on my channel, but when I was making this new video, like the outline and stuff, all my ideas were things that revolved around baking. So I decided to compile them all. I'm sharing 10 baking hacks that are gonna help you so much in the kitchen. These are things that they're just like problems you run into naturally, and I'm gonna fix them for you. I have tested all these hacks. A lot of them are things that I've just done over the years, and I thought I would share them with you guys to hopefully help you with all of your baking problems, because things like wanting to make banana bread but you have no ripe bananas, don't worry, I got you. I got the best hack. You're gonna be like, what? This is amazing. So without further ado, let's actually first, before we hop in, click that red subscribe button down below. If you are not subscribed, do it. It's free. I have new videos every single week. And without further ado, let's hop right into the video. My first tip is making your own dairy-free buttermilk. All you have to do is add some apple cider vinegar into your plant-based milk. I like to use soy milk. I find it thickens up the best. Give it a quick whisk and then set it aside to thicken and curdle. While that's doing its thing, you can just go ahead and start mixing up the rest of your wet ingredients. I'm actually making my 1 bowl carrot cake muffins from the HealthNut Cookbook. So I'm just adding in all the wet ingredients, cracking in a couple of eggs. I really want to share how I use these hacks in my actual favorite baked recipes. As you can see, the buttermilk has now thickened and you can add it to your mixture. My next hack is my 1 bowl wonder. I love just using the simple hack of a sifter to mix in my dry ingredients to my wet without having to use 2 separate bowls. It's gonna make the batter fluffier and lighter, but it's also gonna help distribute the dry ingredients as you sift it. Not to mention way less dishes to clean up when you're done. I'm gonna fold in the carrots, and then the batter is ready to pop into our muffin tray. My next hack is using a cookie scoop. You will get picture perfect muffins every time. Not only will all your muffins be the exact same size, but they're also gonna rise a little bit nicer. They're gonna have this like nice dome at the top. I've just tried it with and without a cookie scoop, and I swear there's a huge difference. So if you want picture perfect muffins, use this tip. I'm just finishing them off with some crushed walnuts and coconut sugar, and these are ready to pop into the oven and bake up. I also love to use this tip for cookies or energy bites to make sure they're all the same size. Once the muffins are done baking, as you can see, they look perfectly rounded on top, and you're ready just to dig in. I love eating one fresh out of the oven when it's still nice and warm. Just look at that fluff. My next hack is how to measure butter perfectly. I actually got this tip from my younger sister, who she learned from baking class in high school. All you have to do is fill up a measuring cup with the amount of butter that you need. So in this case, I needed ½ a cup, and then just drop in your butter until you have doubled that. So until it reaches 1 cup, then I know I have ½ a cup of butter. This trick works really good if you have like odds and ends of butter hanging around in your fridge and they don't have that little measuring guide on them. Use this hack, it will work perfectly. Speaking of butter, my next hack is to grate your butter in order to soften it quickly. I don't know about you guys, but every time I need softened butter, I never have it just hanging around on my counter like my grandma does. So instead, I just like to grate my butter, and as you can see, it just softens instantly, and it's gonna work perfectly into my new fashioned chocolate chip cookies, also from the HealthNut Cookbook. The actual recipe calls for softened coconut oil, but I like to personally add in butter when I'm feeling like a little bit more of a treat. Once again, I'm using my 1 bowl wonder trick. I'm gonna sift in all of my dry ingredients. Less time, it's like the best tip. I've used this for years, and I swear it works every time. I just love it. Folding everything in, now it's time for the best part, the chocolate chips, and your dough is ready to scoop. My next tip is using a greaseless cookie sheet. So if you actually just use a nonstick silicone mat like this one from the HealthNut shop that actually has our branded logo in the bottom right-hand corner, which I love, but it's gonna help reduce the amount of extra oil or butter that you need to use so that your cookies don't stick to the bottom. I use this in so much of my baking, and it's so easy to clean up at the end. And as you can see, I'm also using that cookie scoop hack. I swear I use all of these hacks in so many of my recipes all the time, which is why I'm finally sharing them with you guys. Cookies are out of the oven, and as you can see, they're all the exact same size because we use the cookie scoop. And I'm just gonna take a spatula to easily lift them off. And as you can see, no sticking, and we didn't grease anything. Next up, we have one of my favorite hacks that I've been doing now for over a year. It is using chickpea water to make an egg replacement. I know it sounds crazy, but when you're draining your chickpeas from the can, save that chickpea water because it is gonna make the most amazing egg replacement that is fluffy and really does look like fluffed up egg whites. You add it to a bowl and you're gonna whisk it with a hand blender for about 3 minutes until it resembles egg whites. A lot of vegans use this in meringues and other recipes that you need egg whites for, but I just love using it in my baked goods like banana bread, which I'm gonna be showing you how to incorporate into. The next problem I often run into when I wanna make banana bread is not having super ripe bananas. What you're gonna do to fix this is just lay out your green bananas on a cookie sheet, pop it into the oven at 300 Fahrenheit, and you're gonna allow that to bake. The amount of baking time depends on how large your bananas are, so I will have the full instructions on the blog post linked down below. While that's cooking up, I'm gonna share with you the next hack, which is non-stick measuring. So I don't know about you guys, but when I measure anything super sticky like honey, brown rice syrup, or maple syrup, a bunch of it sticks to the measuring cup and then it's extra cleanup and it just is kind of a sticky mess. Instead, measure your oil first. So I had half a cup of avocado oil that I needed for this recipe, and then measure the sticky ingredient and it's gonna slide right out. My next hack is properly measuring out dry versus wet ingredients. Did you know there's a difference? There actually is, and it makes a difference in your baking. So there is a liquid measuring cup and a dry measuring cup. So these ones are for dry, and the proper way to do it is actually to scoop on a bunch of flour and then scrape off the top with either a knife, or I'm just using my scooper. And then these measuring cups with the little lip on them are for wet ingredients. So it's gonna give you a more accurate read of the actual measurement because you can see it on the side. And it's also just gonna be easier to pour out because it has that spout. So once your bananas are done baking, they should really have a dark, shiny black skin to them. I could have actually baked mine longer. I ended up trying out this for the second time, and longer is definitely better if you want them to be extra soft and sweet. It's because I was using much larger bananas than I'm used to. They're gonna be super sweet, super soft, and they mash up just like super ripe bananas. It's perfect. Add in the rest of the ingredients. As you can see, the honey comes out perfectly because we oiled it first. Whisk in that aquafaba, which is the technical name for whipped chickpea water. Sift in your dry ingredients. This flour blend I'm using is actually my HealthNut gluten-free blend. It is one of the best gluten-free blends I have ever tried, so I'll have that linked in the blog post as well for you guys to grab. Adding in my chocolate chips and then just folding those in so we can transfer them to our loaf pan. Now this is an extra hack. I love to just grease my pan with a little bit of oil. I'm using coconut oil before I place any parchment paper in. It's gonna help it stick. Otherwise you're like fumbling around and it's just a pain in the butt to actually keep the parchment paper into the mold. Transfer the batter into the pan and then just smooth at the top and pop it into the oven to bake. So this recipe ends up being both egg-free and gluten-free, which is great for my niece and nephew who can't really have either one. So that's why I make this all the time for them. There you have it, 10 baking hacks that I know are gonna just make your life so much easier. I feel like we are in full-blown baking mode. I mean, I do a lot of baking around the holidays, but I especially do baking right now because I just like cozy baked goods to keep me warm during the winter months. And especially now that we're in February, the month of love and self-care, I feel like you should go and bake yourself some cupcakes or banana bread and treat yourself because you deserve it. And I would love to know if you guys have any of your own baking tips. I feel like everyone has some from their grandparents or parents or something. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know your best baking hack or tip that you swear by, even if it's a family secret. Give me all the secrets. I need them in my life. And as always, I'm gonna have a full blog post with all the instructions to the 10 hacks in today's video with any recipe links or product links that will be linked down below. And that's gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so much fun to just kind of compile all of my favorite baking hacks. And if you like these videos, be sure to give it a big thumbs up so I know, and I'll definitely do more of them for you. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.